Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Igor here, and I'm bringing you the Salem content update for March 7th, 2013. This one actually is a pretty good one. It's really interesting, in fact. I'm just going to go ahead and read it because it's really short, but there's a few things to it that I want to talk about and go over because I am seeing on the forums that a few people are having a problem with it, so I just kind of want to go over the early game, the new player way of doing so. So to jump into what this update actually entails, is it reads, "We've been developing and here's what's new. Muskets now require gunpowder and musket balls, and also deal actual damage. Also, there is a slingshot available early on, and the Wilderness Guide now sells powder and other related goods. Animals are now on their guard. Enjoy." That's it. That's the only thing in this update that they changed. So just kind of starting off, so let's say you're a new player, you've just started out, and you're going, well, how do I hunt, how do I do this, that, and the other? It's really not too bad. I haven't quite figured out 100% what skill the slingshot is tied to early on, but I'm guessing that it's probably going to be small game hunting. I've actually made one, and I've kind of messed around with it, and it just looks like a regular little old slingshot. I'll take my pickaxe out of here, and once I equip the slingshot, it goes in the left slot if you're using Ender's Client, or the left hand. And once move away from my house here, you can see the cool little 3D model holding a slingshot. To make this slingshot is fairly simple. You just go into craft, you go clothes, equipment, and weapons, and then you go to tools and weapons, slingshot. It requires 2 sharpened sticks and 5 plant fibers. Now, this is where I'm starting to see that C-Tribe likes to apparently troll us players because it requires 5 plant fibers when the max that you can have in a fireplace is 4. So if you have just one fireplace and you don't have anything else, you can only put 4 milkweed fibers or cotton, or maybe you use some cotton or whatever. But if you're just starting out, you don't have fields or you don't have anything like that, you have to use milkweed, and you have to wash milkweed in a bucket. So it's kind of strange, and I haven't quite figured out exactly how many different types of plant fibers there are. All I know is that cotton, milkweed fiber, and rags you can actually use as plant fibers, and the rags you actually get from sewing. Once you learn the sewing skill, if you go into processing materials and rags, it says any piece of clothing, 2 rags. So if you've replaced your new player gear with better stuff, and you've made, maybe you've kept it in a chest or in a crate somewhere, you can actually turn your old clothing into rags, and you can make different things with the rags and so on and so forth. But to move on to what you guys have been waiting for, is let's see this slingshot in action. Now, it just so happens that there's a few rabbits near my base here, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to show you just exactly how this works. For the slingshot to work, you have to have stones. So you have to chip up some stones or find some granite, or you need to find flint or smooth stones or whatever. You need to have stones in your inventory to use the slingshot. When you get the small game hunting ability, I'm assuming, and you'll get the ability, you go to combat, attacks, and you now have the ability to shoot. So what you do is you just click the shoot, and I'm going to click on this little adorable bunny rabbit, and cool animation, boom, I'm in combat, and it, that's what engages combat. So you can now engage animals through your slingshot. Sorry, I was killing the rabbit there. Now, the other thing that they changed, I'm going to go find another rabbit. You may have heard me when I mentioned animals are now on their guard. What this means is that snakes, rabbits, I'm not sure about deer, but snakes, rabbits, and crickets will run away from you from now on. You will actually, when you walk up on them, they won't just sit there in one spot. They actually immediately start running away. So this rabbit here, sitting near the tree, do whatever. If I run up on this, he's going to run away. If I try and and he will just consistently run away when you get close up on him. So it makes it almost nearly impossible without the use of something like Stomp or without the use of some AoE to actually attack this. Ooh, tumbleweed. ADD moment. 1 second, gotta grab the tumbleweed here. Extremely new, extremely crucial for new players is tumbleweed. Awesome for cloak and dagger, and so on and so forth. But the slingshot isn't that bad. A lot of people were having a problem with it, and a lot of people are saying it makes hunting harder, and so on and so forth. It really, honestly, in my opinion, it makes it easier, because you get the ability to make the slingshot when you get small game hunting. You should have the ability, or you should be able to somehow acquire plant fibers through some form or another. And once you can craft a slingshot, you just get some stone, and even if you do have lower biles, I mean, I do know I have 20 biles, 20 yellow bile on this character, which I'm assuming is what the actual slingshot uses. So it's not too bad. I mean, you get that first shot. I mean, you do damage to this rabbit right off the get-go. I'm doing about 0.6, and you do damage right off the get-go. And then once you get to a point where you can actually kill it, if I could ever manage to hit this darn thing, by the time it gets up to me, and if I timed it right, I can actually kill it without getting hit. Now, mind you, my biles are slightly higher. I do have an Indian arrowhead slotted into one of my pieces of gear, so I do have a little bit of a combat modifier. Nothing that a new player shouldn't be able to handle. So once you kind of see it in action and you do it a few times, it is confusing at first, but once you see it in action, you do it a few times, it's really not that bad. Now, muskets, I haven't really got to play around with muskets a whole lot, mainly because I never really played around with muskets because they never worked. So I wanted to get this update out there for you so that you guys could play around with it. If you do already have firearms and you do have a musket, you got some extra cash, extra silver, you should definitely go try it out and experiment with it and see how it works. I will, however, make note to tell you that you've got to make sure that you have to load your gun with gunpowder first and then load the musket ball in there. You might be wondering, where in the world do we get musket balls and gunpowder? You get them from the Wilderness Guide. The Wilderness Guide actually sells you, which I'm going to show you right now. The Wilderness Guide actually sells gunpowder and a bunch of other stuff, and I'm going to show you here. Let's go to a Wilderness Guide, go over to this guy over here, and if I can get through there, yep. And when you right-click them, you see you can buy 10 musket balls for 75 silver, 50 grams of gunpowder for 60 silver, not bad, and a powder horn for 500 silver. And I'm assuming, I don't know how much the powder horn holds, but I'm sure that you can just put gunpowder in this powder horn and just load it from there. Or you might need the powder horn to load the gun. I'm not sure. Like I said, you guys know how to do it. Experiment with it, try it, play with it, and let me know. I'm here to bring you the information of what has been changed, and you guys should go out there and see and experiment for yourself to see just exactly how fun this update could potentially be. I personally love it. I think, early on is really, I mean, for all the new players out there that have just started playing in open beta, you really should be enjoying the early game. It's really quite innovative. It's fun. And once you get to a point where you are comfortable enough to play the game and not worry too much about later game and getting killed and so on and so forth, you actually will have a lot of fun with it. Take your time. I mean, just play with the combat, kill some crickets, kill some rabbits, just kill stuff and play around with it and see what you think. The combat really, it sounds hard because, you can't just walk up and kill rabbits or crickets or anything like that anymore. They actually run away. So it does make it a little bit difficult to a certain extent. However, I will say that it makes it a little bit more fun because, this cricket is now chasing me, and all I gotta do is I just turn around, hit him with an uppercut. He hits me for 0.5 damage, move away, wait for him to make sure that he's coming after me, turn around, hit him with an uppercut, and I've killed the cricket. I can do this over and over again. Mind you, I do have a little bit higher biles than what a normal new character would, but by now, by the time you get small game hunting and by the time you get the ability to do this, you should, realistically, you should have some level of humors. I mean, you should be able to, to actually effectively kill a cricket or a rabbit before you even consider small game hunting, because when you get KO'd, when you get knocked out by a cricket or a rabbit or a deer or anything, any animal at the very moment, you will lose, I'm pretty sure it's 2 random points and 2 random proficiencies. I don't know if they changed this. They may have. It's definitely a possibility. I haven't been KO'd in a while. But either way, you do have something to lose when you get KO'd. I mean, if you lose something like Cloak and Dagger or Mines and Mountains, there's probably a good chance it's going to take you a little while to get those skills back up. So just make sure that, you know, before you even go thinking about doing combat, just experiment with it and make sure you get your biles up. And don't try and go too fast. Take your time, breathe, study, do your homework, do your research, and in the end, it does pay off. It really does. You know, you get to actually try and skillfully kill these things now, opposed to just mindlessly walking up and hitting them and killing them, because now they run away. So animals are now on their guard. You know, you get muskets that do damage. However, for the last portion of this video, I do want to make note of one thing that I did forget to mention when I talked about guns. Being that guns now do damage brings about a whole new level of awareness that I want to make everyone aware of. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, the way slingshots worked in Haven and Hearth is you actually could slingshot through walls. I'm not sure about the stone walls and, you know, so on and so forth, but I do know that I'm pretty sure that slingshots will go through like makeshift fences, stuff like that. So if a player comes up to your settlement, you know, try and hide behind something. Get out of the way for him to actually tag you with the slingshot. Just try to avoid it, because now they can tag you and you'll go in combat. It'll immediately activate combat, and you won't be able to log out. You'll be stuck in your claim, and he has every right to come in there and kill you. So if you see a new player walk up, you know, hide behind something. Hide behind, you know, let's say, theoretically speaking, he comes up over here. Hide behind your house. You know, that should prevent that bullet from going through the house, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure if you hide behind an object, it will prevent your character from, you know, from being hit. Or if you have the biles, if you have the ability, and I say this very loosely because if you're a new player, you probably don't, but if you do, what you want to do really is build a settlement in a, like, I guess you could say something like this. Over on this side of my settlement, over on the west side here, the land is up higher than what my walking area in my settlement is. The reason why this is important is because you have to be on the same level of ground to attack the animals, which if you noticed, I missed the rabbit a few times earlier, and that was because he wasn't on quite the same level ground as I was, so it was actually missing. It was either going above him or under him, so it wasn't actually hitting the rabbit effectively. So make sure that, you know, you just got to take precautions. If you have the biles, just build your house either down or up, so that when somebody walks up to your settlement, they are not on the same level with you. They're not on the same, you know, they're not even on the same tile. And that should, theoretically, that should prevent them from tagging you, because they won't be able to hit you because you're on a different level. Once again, not 100% sure. This is very, very interesting, and as far as I can tell, it's quite a controversial update. So just be wary, do your research, experiment with it, play with it. If you have anything that you found out that I didn't mention, feel free to leave it in the comment sections below. I'm working on a new video, actually a few new videos. I'm actually taking questions and answers again for all the new players out there, and I'm taking those on the forums, down in the description or down in the comment box. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. I got a couple videos that a couple people actually asked me so many good questions that I think I can make a video or 2 videos out of this just alone. And a couple other people were asking me some questions on the forums, and I'm just here, you know, if you have any questions, feel free, just post it in the comment section down below. I may not get the chance to reply to all of them, but I do read them. So if I don't reply right away, or if I don't reply, you know that I did see it, and you never know, it could pop up in a video. So, you know, leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions, if I missed anything, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, links down in the description, and as always, thanks for watching.